Welcome, engineers. My name's TravisIQ, and today we're going to tell you what the best way to get your foot in the door in tech is when it comes to certifications, education, and experience, or a combination thereof. Now, certifications tend to be kind of the go-to for people, and I think that it is still the case that certifications are probably the quickest way and the best way to prove the things that you need to prove to a hiring manager or to a big organization that you should be hired into a tech position. So next is experience. I would list these in order: certifications, experience, and then education at the bottom in terms of your return on investment. What do you mean by experience though, Travis? I have this listed and you're telling me, Travis, I'm trying to get experience in the field. How do you have experience listed as a way to get my foot in the door in tech when that's what I'm trying to get? I'm talking about ancillary experiences. I'm talking about experiences that will qualify you for this position, but are not the position experience itself. There are ways to get experience in networking, in network infrastructure, and racking equipment. How do you do this? Well, oftentimes it's people that you know, right? Or the way that you know people. And so you have to go out and get experience, or you have to go out and contact folks. And this is not as much fun. And so I put it below certifications because it's a little bit more difficult, although it can accelerate your trajectory into IT more quickly. It's just more difficult and much more stressful to a lot of us who are a little bit more introverted. So you go to tech meetups, you go to a conference, or you present a little talk about a Raspberry Pi that you built to do a specific thing at a conference. These are all experiences. You can build your own little Raspberry Pi, use the I/O pins to do something, and then submit a talk and go do that unprompted. You don't need education, you don't need experience, none of it. Or you can go a different route and you can say, hey, I want to donate my time. You can go to a community center, you can go to an art museum, you can go to a school, you can go to a church or some other community function that needs volunteers, that needs people with a little bit of technical ability, some elbow grease, and a willingness to figure it out and say, hey, I'd love to help you guys with this stuff. I bet oftentimes you'd even find someone who has a network engineering degree or works at a big tech firm or works in IT at a large school or a large campus environment, and they're donating their time because it's something that they're passionate about, and they have a position and a little bit of free time, and maybe even their position sponsors them to donate some of their time. And so now what are you doing? You're gaining experience and being mentored by a network engineer at a local firm. And guess what? You can put that on your resume and you can utilize that as a piece of paper, but also as a way to talk about this when you get into an interview and they say, how does this relevant experience apply to what we are going to have you do on a day-to-day basis? And you say, hey, I worked under a network engineer. He or she showed me how to manipulate the Unix and Linux environments that these things run on. And we did all these really unique and interesting things that will allow me to be way more effective at troubleshooting your environment. So if you notice, I've actually spent a little bit more time on the experience here. Although I find that people gravitate towards certificates and certifications, I think that they are really valuable and it's a nice linear path to get yourself into the industry. Actually, I think that either experience or a combination of donating your time and building things locally and getting a certification is going to be much more valuable to you getting your foot in the door than simply one or the other. And if I had to lean on one, I would actually tell you to go out and donate your time and find these things. It's just a little bit more difficult to do. I think the return on investment then starts with certifications, goes to experience, and then finally it culminates in education. And now let me tell you that I have a lot of experience to speak on this topic. I have a bachelor's degree in engineering, a PhD in engineering, a postdoctoral research fellowship overseas in an engineering discipline. So I've done all of this stuff. And I would say that it's the lowest return on investment. It's the thing that I utilize the least, and that gives me, all it does for me is give me clout in industries when I go do these things. Yes, it does speak to the fact that I have a very strong intellectual understanding of fundamental engineering concepts. I'm a great troubleshooter, and that I have a proclivity to innovate in the space, right? Because I have taken and innovated in the fundamental science space. If that's the type of job that you want, if you want to go and be a research engineer one or a senior engineer or a senior research engineer, then education might be the route for you. If that's not where you want to be, if you want to be a network engineer and if you don't want to go into upper management and you don't want to specialize that heavily, then you really don't need this educational component for the most part. Some people will say in the comments, I've reached a ceiling and I'm not sure what to do because I can't progress past this without that BS. And there are places where you will find that as a ceiling, but even now, a lot of tech firms are not requiring that as a hard ceiling. There are a combination of experience and certifications and experience in your job in that role that will obviously allow you to bypass some of these things. So as it goes, certifications, experience, and education in that order. And realistically, the best combination, in my opinion, is actually a strong combination of experience, however you can gain it. Ancillary experience is what I call this, and probably some supplemental certifications that will really set you up to set yourself apart and get a position and get that foothold in a position that you really want. As is always the case, engineer, break stuff, have fun. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I will give you my advice and I'll tell you where to go if you want. Do it. We'll see you then.